Breaking news here on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk as the Steelers have extended Minkah Fitzpatrick on a record-setting deal. We're going to break down everything on the contract extension, but if you are hyped about getting Minkah, perhaps the best young or outright best safety in the NFL, locked up for several more years, show it by liking today's video right now. Today's breaking news video is presented by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety tool that's giving you a free 14-day trial of their product at aura.com/chatsports. That link's in the comment section and the description, and we'll tell you more about them on today's show. But let's get into the news. Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't going anywhere. The star young safety has agreed to a record-setting contract extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The reported deal, with the exact nitty-gritty details not yet known, 4 years, $73.6 million, $36 million of that, by the way, guaranteed at signing. I would assume that this sticks with the Steelers' typical track record of how they structure their guarantees beyond the first year. The Steelers retain yet another key defensive player, and of course, Minkah gets the contract that he is absolutely worth. One of, if not the smartest players at the safety position in the NFL. His last 4 years, although the pass breakups and interceptions dipped, the tackles did go way up from 79 to 124, plus the nice production in 2019 from a tackle perspective. He is consistently around the football more often than not, making plays on it. There are very few and frankly no young safeties that I would rather have on my football team than Minkah Fitzpatrick. There was some, was he really worth the first-round pick and more the Steelers give up to get him? The answer has been a resounding yes so far, because he is that talented of a football player. Now, assuming the reported number of $18.4 million per year is accurate and not factoring in a bunch of fake not likely to be earned incentives. For example, some teams will put, if we win a Super Bowl, you get an extra $2 million, which that doesn't ever really happen. So we'll use this number, but if there is unlikely to be earned money in there, it could drop down a little bit. But we've seen kind of a similar jump per year, right? $500,000 from when Justin Simmons got paid over Budda Baker. $0.75 million Harrison Smith over Justin Simmons. $1.5 million over Jamal Adams. And now Minkah ends up jumping Jamal Adams from that $18.4 million range. He's getting over the 17.5. Now the guaranteed money, and we'll come back to this more in depth, by the way, later on. Minkah is behind Jamal Adams and Marcus Williams, which is a bit unusual from that standpoint. Guaranteed money can be played around with, and you can almost bet your bottom dollar that in year 2 or year 3, the Steelers will restructure Minkah's deal to bring down his cap hit, which would then raise the guaranteed figure. We are, of course, not remotely done talking about this Minkah Fitzpatrick extension, but I want you guys to grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel from the Steelers' standpoint? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and type in your A, B, C, D, or if you're a hater, type in F. For me, in my opinion, getting this deal done is a big-time win for Pittsburgh. I think Minkah's a star football player, and in general, I know it's a hot take, but we've seen teams not take this approach. I want to keep my awesome football players on my team. I know it's expensive. I know there might be some sticker shock involved, but Minkah's absolutely worth the cost. And his cap hit this year isn't really going to jump. In fact, I could see it dropping just a little bit. Minkah is a star safety. I think he is the best young safety, if not the best outright safety, in the entire NFL. He is that talented of a football player. And getting the deal done before other safeties get paid is also a win. We'll break down what I mean by that momentarily, but this is exactly why you guys subscribe to Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. When breaking news happens, we break it down for you. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that big red button and subscribe at youtube.com/SteelersTV. Now, I mentioned that other young safeties are going to get paid. Remember how the market works, and you saw with the highest paid safeties, right? The most recent guy ends up getting more. Jessie Bates for the Bengals, he wants a new deal. Derwin James from the Chargers, when healthy, is probably in the same tier of talented young safeties as Minkah, but the best ability is availability, and that's not exactly Derwin James' strength. And I don't think Jordan Poyer is going to crack this top 3 safety grouping of like highest paid guys, but he's also looking for a new contract, and he's awesome at playing football too. So I would not be surprised if one of or both Jessie Bates and Derwin James, depending on when and what team ends up paying them, surpasses Minkah Fitzpatrick from the average per year standpoint. In general, the longer you wait to do a deal, the more expensive it becomes. The Steelers getting their deal done first means it might end up looking like a steal in just a year or two, just like it looked like a steal with the Justin Simmons deal for Denver. He was the highest paid guy. Now he's not even in the top 3. Today's show is presented by Aura. They offer financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, and online and device security for you or up to 5 members of your family. I myself have a family, got a almost 7-month-old daughter right now, and I want to make sure she's safe and my family's information is safe. That's why I love Aura. They're giving you a free 14-day trial of their entire online safety tool when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link, by the way, will be in the comments section and it will be in the description. aura.com/chatsports. GM Omar Khan put out a statement on the signing of Minkah Fitzpatrick. Here it is for you. Quote, Minkah is one of the top safeties in the NFL, and we are thrilled to say he will be in Pittsburgh for the next 5 years. When we traded for him, we knew he was going to be an integral part of our defense, and we are looking forward to that continuing. Minkah is a star player, a star safety, one of the best ones, if not the best, in the NFL. His coverage stats here on screen, courtesy of Pro Football Reference. Safety coverage stats are often pretty weird, pretty unusual, because it's tricky to identify whose fault was it that somebody got beat. So sometimes the yards and the average per catch ends up being a little bit high because they might blame the busted coverage on the safety, even if it's not his fault. But I think I can speak for every Steelers fan watching. He's awesome at football. No doubt about it. Now, I do want to go back to this part of the actual contract. The exact details are not yet known. We don't yet know what the structure is going to be in terms of like he gets this much in 2022, in 2023, 2024, and beyond. The nitty-gritty remains unknown. We'll probably know that later today in the afternoon or at worst probably Thursday morning. So we'll break that down once we find it out. Again, to recap, Minkah is the highest paid safety in the NFL. I've seen the differing reports of he got $18.4 million and over $18.4, so there's probably some incentives mixed in there somewhere, but I think that's about the right range. The guaranteed money is also worth mentioning, less than Jamal Adams, less than Marcus Williams, who is good, but not Minkah's good in the end. I'm a big fan of his ability, his play of Williams, but Fitzpatrick's a better football player. The Steelers like to do this with their guarantees. They don't want to guarantee a bunch of money in the future, but I would bet on a restructure coming in the not-too-distant future. So Minkah Fitzpatrick, depending on how you view the contract, is the highest paid safety in the NFL, or if you want to use the guaranteed money, number 3 in the NFL. So where would you rank him among all NFL safeties? 1, 2, 5, 7? Drop the number for me in the comments section. With Minkah locked and loaded long-term at safety 1, you now have at least some stopgap options, some short-term options at the other safety spot. The Steelers retain Terrell Edmunds, and you might see more multiple safety looks this year with Diontae Johnson, the favorite to handle that particular duty as kind of a hybrid nickel safety option in the end. But Pittsburgh paid Minkah, and that's what matters. Now looking ahead beyond the Minkah contract, the original video today was going to be discussing the report from Albert Breer that the Steelers were more likely to pay Minkah than Diontae Johnson. Well, that looked very smart there, Albert Breer, so hats off to you, my friend. Johnson is now the big-time player on the Steelers who is, I'll use in air quotes, next in line for a possible extension. we'll bump this video back a day. We'll go more in depth on a future Steelers video about what exactly the future looks like for Diontae Johnson and if he will get a new long-term deal done. But as a teaser, I want you to make your predictions. Will the Steelers get a deal done this offseason with Diontae Johnson? Y for yes and for no in the comments section. And as you've learned today, if the news happens and he gets a big deal done, we will break it down for you here. YouTube.com/SteelersToday. Subscribe for all the information you could ever want on your favorite team.